Do you know the manhwa player who returned 10,000 years later? In this video, we're going to do a recap, showing the main events, from the most epic and ops scenes to the funniest ones. Where in the deepest layer, the 9th layer, the strongest demons fought endlessly in order to determine who was the strongest. They thought this fight would never end until our protagonist Kangwoo arrived. With his ability Power of Gluttony, Kangwoo absorbed the powers and bodies of the demons he faced, defeating even the 7 princes of hell, who had a level of power balanced between them. Since he arrived, his efforts to get stronger were always so that he could return to Earth. In that way, he became the Demon Lord, possessing everything in hell. But for a human to see the same landscapes with just demons fighting non-stop, just having strange food, having no entertainment and not even a normal waifu, anyone would want to run back. Kangwoo took 10,000 years to complete the requirements to try to return to Earth. He needed to defeat all 7 princes to get their armor and also a lot of magic. With the armor in place, the wizard Amon was called to begin the portal's opening ritual. The Demon Lord Kangwoo used the Myriad Demon Palace and put his magic into the armors. They reacted and a dimensional break was created. After passing through the portal, he arrived in some kind of control room with an orb at the center. When he thought that everything was going well, an error message, "Nuclear crack detected," appeared. The dimensional defense system, the Gaia system, has been activated. Due to a power overload, the defense mechanism of all dimensions was also activated. As the system failed to repair the dimensional break, it placed a limiting seal on the protagonist, who lost his consciousness. When he woke up, he was already in a forest and a status window appeared, showing that his abilities were now sealed. Suddenly goblins appeared to attack him, creatures that didn't exist on the Earth he knew. He tried to use his demonic power but failed. That's because inside the Myriad Demon Palace the demonic energy is weak. However, that's no problem, because he was able to use the demon Sabnok's ability, Power of the Blade, which allowed him to create a blade and cut through all the goblins. When he defeated them, a message appeared saying he gained XP and leveled up. The more he leveled, the stronger he felt. At the end of the battle, he used his gluttony power and absorbed the goblins, gaining their biological information and +1 demonic energy. It frustrated him, because there shouldn't be that kind of energy on Earth. As he thought about it, he heard a human scream in the background. He activated his speed skill and went to see the source of the scream. All he wanted is for them not to have tentacles, a normal human is fine. Getting closer, he saw 2 eyes, a nose and no tentacles. He was very happy. He defeated the goblins that were attacking the girl easily, and with so much happiness he arrived asking the girl to marry him. After calming down, he introduced himself and asked if everything was alright. As she was injured, she ended up falling towards him and dropping her phone. When Kangwoo saw the phone, he realized he was on Earth. After performing first aid on Han Solon, when he went to return her phone, he saw that the year was 2023. It had been 5 years on Earth since he fell into hell. This means that something happened that caused monsters to start appearing. He needed more information. Talking to Solon, he found out that she was doing solo gate hunting and that she was a level 6 novice player. After talking, as she was injured, he helped her get to the dungeon entrance. Outside of the portal, he saw people looking for parties and that they were all human. A scene that moved him, since he hadn't seen humans in 10,000 years. As a thank you for helping her, Solon invited him to her house for a meal. Kangwoo was already thinking about other things, until the mood was broken by 2 soldiers asking for identification. Since he didn't have an ID, he used the demon Dantalion's Power of Oblivion, which made the soldier see his middle finger as an ID. Arriving at the girl's apartment, they went up the stairs. And even though the apartment was old, the window all dusty, the corridor was narrow, he was still positive. But that was until she said, "Mom." Then the penny dropped. It was for literally just 1 meal. While the mother was making the food, the protagonist asked to take a look at the phone. He looked up news from 2018, the year he was teleported, and found that on February 22, 2018, known as Cataclysm Day, hundreds of portals appeared and monsters came out of them. Firearms were useless. The crisis caused a world emergency organization to be created with the US as its leader. But all was not lost. Players started to appear. It is possible that the protagonist fell into one of these portals and ended up in hell. The food arrived and it was kimchi jjigae. It means a lot to him, because in order to survive in hell he accepted demonic energy and became a being close to a demon. But his human taste continued, so the demons he devoured tasted very bad. In that moment of peace, a guy arrives kicking the door of the apartment and asking who gave permission for Solon to enter the portal. She responds by asking him to leave, while the boy Han Tae-hyun called her a low-level, who is not a real player and even spoke badly of her mother. He pulls Solon away saying that she should join Andra's guild. Solon, not wanting to go, bit his hand. Then he hits her and then her mother. While he was saying that she only has value for her pretty face, the MC is eating all the kimchi in the background. This made Tae-hyun very angry to the point of hitting the table. Messing with the kimchi was bad decision. The MC was sad and angry, wanted to take it out on the guy. Han Tae-hyun tried to attack with his skill, but he couldn't land one hit because Oh Kang-woo dodged them all and counterattacked several times. He made him say, "Kimchi jjigae is sacred food." Solon didn't understand anything. After that quick battle, Solon went to do her mother's first aid, while the loser Han Tae-hyun was doing the dishes only in his shorts because his clothes were left with Kang-woo. He thought he was going to leave with just these losses and would be able to report what happened to the Andra skill, but the demon lord used the skill of the demon Orobus, the power of dread, which takes the soul and instills a fear that does not disappear, making the target turn into a puppet. The command given was not to talk about what happened in the house. And that's how the Battle of the Kimchi ended. Kang-woo was worried about money. Meanwhile, Solon was looking at him with awe that he saved her yet again. It's a beautiful scene. While looking at the cell phone, he saw the magic stone and thought that he could sell it to earn money. But before that he had to confirm one thing. He asks to see the goblin's magic stone, as he felt that the increase in demonic energy could have come from absorbing the stones that were in goblins. But this was not the case. It was another energy, magic. Then he could sell them without any problem. But for that he would need to go to a player support center to get a player ID. They decided to go together since Solon wanted to relearn the basics and unlock the second awakening. She was rushed before because she needed the money, but now she sees that it was the wrong decision. He considers her an angel for all the help so far, but he knows he can't continue with her so as not to lose efficiency, since he has to recover his powers as soon as possible. Before arriving at the player support center, they stopped by City Hall to issue the ID. In that, he saw there were no wanted posters with his name. No one was concerned about his absence. But now it's different, he has Solon. At the player support center, the angel Solon gave him her old cell phone to use and told him to meet later for dinner. Kang-woo went to get his ticket to assess his ranking. In the testing room, while waiting, some minor characters started to set the webtoon strength level. It was said that the top 5 guild masters achieved S rank in the first awakening. The MC thought, when I get my strength back I might end up fighting them. The good thing is that he now has his player trait to help with leveling. When it was his turn to measure the power, the girl asked him to place his hand on the orb. The protagonist was worried about people discovering his strength, but his rank was classified as F. The girl continued with her work, explaining that he will receive E rank player card and can only enter dungeons of the same rank alone, or higher rank accompanied by a guardian. As she explained, he was wondering what could have gone wrong. And the girl continued, you can increase the rank with the basic course or by showing a list of magic stones transactions. When Kang-woo left the room, the girl looked at the orb and it began to change color until it was completely dark and finally broke. She found it unusual, but thought it might just be a glitch. Our protagonist Kang-woo left and went looking for his first dungeon. Upon entering the portal, he felt uncomfortable, as he did not like teleportation due to his experience of going to hell. Inside he found Kang Tae-soo, a nice guy, who looked older than 24 years. He asked if Kang Woo was hunting alone and if he would like to join his party, because he was already worried, because in his eyes Kang Woo was a newbie. The protagonist thanked the offer, but turned it down, saying he already had plans. Leaving, Tae-soo gave a hint: be careful with the boss of the goblins, the hobgoblin. After saying goodbye, the protagonist went straight to the goblin camp. Leave in the comments what you think of this manhwa recap, and if you want the second part.